And hello again, and here we are back in my garage on quite a cold, crisp day, I must say. And today we're not going to be talking about my Kawasaki Z1170 for once. No, instead we're going to talk about my Guzzi project. And sure enough, it has been quite a long time since I last did a video about the old Guzzi here. I think it was in the summer, and on that video I had the seat upholstered for the first time. Had it carefully measured out what I wanted, got it done, came back, didn't like the result, didn't like it at all. It didn't fit how I wanted it to. Wasn't the fault of Anthony, who did the upholstery for me. He did it precisely how I asked him. It's down to me. So the seat went back to Anthony and I had it reupholstered again, which is now how I've got it here. And it took about 6 or 7 weeks to get it back, and since then it's just sat here just waiting to be fitted. And indeed, fitting it to the rear seat is a bit of a fiddly job. I've got to do it inside the house on a big soft duvet because you run the risk of scratching the paintwork otherwise, so that's not been done yet. And the reason for that is because I've been really busy trying to finish off the Kawasaki here, and indeed we are getting to the end of that project now. I think probably by the end of the month, it's now October, mid-October, I think by the end of this month all my work on it is pretty much finished. I've then just got to wait for the paintwork to come back from Mark the painter. He's promised me that by the end of December, so hopefully I might get, you know, a month or 6 weeks free, well, I'll say free, to spend some time working on the Guzzi, which I've not done for quite a long time now. And it's not just time that I lack, it's also space, because now I'm jammed in this little area here. I can't move it because I need to space around the Kawasaki. So if I'm doing work on this bike, it's actually very cramped anyway. I've got to be hard against the wall, or I'm leaning down for a while. It's not ideal, it's not ideal. I just don't have space to do 2 bikes at the same time, so that's why the Guzzi's been waiting for such a long time. There's also been a couple of really frustrating problems I've had with it that sort of put me off coming back on it and working on it. And the first one seems really simple and obvious, but it is damn frustrating. And that's to do with this rather beautiful Le Mans Mark 1 fairing, which has been painted up to match the bike. And I can't get it to fit the bike, it just will not go on. I'm not sure why. And really I need some help, because I just want to see what's going on as I'm trying to get the damn thing fitted. I'm being so careful not to scratch it, not to get angry with it, not to get frustrated, but I've tried it over and over again, it just won't fit on. And the problem is, we've got these two sort of cutouts here in the brackets, and they slide on the bolts which hold the headlamp in place, in theory, but they don't fit, just will not go on. I'm not sure why, because the headlamp is the same diameter, same size as an original Le Mans Mark 1, so in theory it should just go straight on, but it doesn't. And I did think at first it's because the forks on this bike are 40mm, whereas the original Le Mans Mark 1 was 35, so therefore the centres are slightly different, and maybe you know, the mounts for the headlamp are slightly further apart, which they probably are, than on a Le Mans Mark 1, but nevertheless it shouldn't matter, because this thing bolts up against the headlamp itself and just doesn't fit, so that's a bit frustrating. And when I'm doing it, you know, the headlamp's spinning around a little bit, I'm trying to do things, you know, you need sort of an extra pair of hands to help you. Don't have that at the moment, so it's just been left here in a very frustrating situation. And the other problem I've got, which has really stopped me from finishing off the wiring, because I'm right in wiring mode now. I've been doing the wiring on the Kawasaki for a few weeks, so I'm really in wiring mode. I've got all the wiring gear out, I've got all my wiring sorted out, so I could just crack on this thing now and hopefully get the thing fully wired up. But I've been holding back, and I've been holding back because this thing here is a Shido lithium ion battery that I bought for the bike, and I bought this a long time ago, about 5 years ago, when these things were new tech. It was all the latest thing to have. It's light, it's very powerful, so small. It's amazing actually how small they are and how light they are, and yet the CCA, which is a cold cranking amps in this thing, is huge. It's sort of far, you know, it can easily start up a big old Guzzi. And if you compare it to a standard Guzzi battery, they're more like car batteries, they're huge and heavy, so I was really happy to have this. And I made the bracketry and the tray to hold this thing specifically for this particular battery, and no other battery of a different size, slightly bigger in either dimension, would fit the bike. Problem is, it's died for no apparent reason. It's not been on the bike. I've charged it up every now and again to keep it happy, and one day it just didn't work, and I've no idea why. And this is the third lithium ion battery that has died on me for unknown reasons. Well, actually for I think one of them died because I had a slight drain on it for a few weeks, on my Norley that I didn't know about. And it turns out if you let these things die, if you let the power drain out, you just kill them, just dies. You can't recharge it up, it's just dead. So yeah, it's a bit of a problem. Anyway, let's move the camera and I'll show you the problem I've got down on the bike. And so with the camera now looking down into the open triangle of the bike, you can see we've got this battery tray here, which is made specially to fit this sheet of battery. It's made from stainless steel, as indeed it's a splash guard, which it bolts to. And this is made from, I think, 16 gauge steel, stainless steel, so it's plenty strong enough to take the weight of something like this, because it is actually very light. It's only about 1 or 2 kilos, far lighter than a standard lead acid battery would be. And another problem is, if you overcharge it, it also kills it dead. So, you know, okay, no problem. The issue I've got is that the charging system, both the alternator and the rectifier and so on this old Guzzi of mine, is renowned for being quite fragile. So I'm a bit concerned that if I fit another Shido battery like this, which aren't cheap, you know, over £100 I think, the system will kill it, or it will kill the system. I'm not sure which will die first, so I'm a bit worried about, you know, how it might react. So the alternative is to go and buy a standard lead acid battery and fit it in the more usual place, which is on this tray here. But it's going to be big and ugly, and I don't like the idea. It also means I've got to throw away this tray that we had carefully made and probably remake the splash guard as well, because it's currently full of holes where we bolt this tray to it. So it's all been a bit of an awkward situation. And indeed that's reinforced because I bought a couple of rectifiers recently for the Kawasaki's, and it says on it, do not use this rectifier for lead acid batteries. So that's a modern rectifier, so God knows what this whole thing's going to do to it. So that's why I've been sort of pondering what to do. Do I remake all this before I do the wiring, or do I just go with it and buy another one and hope for the best? Don't know. And so there's a quick update on why the Guzzi hasn't really progressed in the last few months. Maybe just my excuses, no doubt, but they are genuine reasons. Anyway, when the Kawasaki 1170 gets finished, which should be a week or two from now, then what I'll do is I'll just move it out of harm's way. I'll put it at the back of the garage, and then I'll move this Guzzi towards the middle of the garage here, and I can walk around it, get around it and do some work. I've still not got a real solution what I'm going to do about the battery and the charging system. I think what I might do is go and buy myself another one of these things, and if it wastes £100 and so be it. Get the bike working, get it running, and then if it blows up, if it dies, then I'll have to reconsider, maybe even fit a completely different charging system, a different rectifier, different charging system. There are aftermarket, more modern systems out there now apparently for about £400 or £500, which you could buy. My system is made by an Italian company called Saprissa, and apparently I got the one which everybody else hates because it's renowned for being delicate and fragile and breaking. So we'll see how we go on with that. Yeah, so I will carry on, I will get it finished one day. This is by far, by the way, my longest project. I've rebuilt it twice, this is the second time, and that's maybe why it's taken so long. But for some reason or other, it always seems to be at the back of the queue. I'm always buying new projects and getting all excited about them and getting them done, and this one just ends up being pushed to the back of the queue. But it will get done, it will get done. I always finish my bikes at some point, and yeah, hopefully by the spring it'll be finished and ready for the road for the first time in God knows how long. I don't know. I mean, I've owned it since about 2012, I think, something like that. Although back then it was just a pile of scrap, basically. It was just a unfinished project, didn't run, you know, lots of things missing from it. So yeah, it's been a very long process. And I think I've built about 4 or 5 bikes since then, which has always sort of superseded this one, and this ends up being at the back of the queue. But hopefully it's at the front of the queue now, so it'll get done quite quickly. So that's the reason why it's not been shown before, it's not been on the YouTube channel, but hopefully in November we'll see more of it and hopefully get it running quite soon. So that's it, quick update. So thanks for watching and cheers.